And showtime! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. A look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I am executive editor of the ChannelPro Network and one of your hosts on this program. With me is my co-host, Erick Simpson, a business transformation and improvement expert for MSPs and other IT providers. Erick, it's been ages. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Rich, and I don't know, something different about you. You look a little more hearty and hale on this episode. Why don't you fill us in on what might have caused that?
Well, we managed to get an episode of the show out last week, despite the fact that I was thousands of miles from here in the Caribbean on vacation, just lounging on a beach. So yeah, if I seem a little more relaxed, it's because I am.
Well, good. We like you relaxed and well-deserved time off. So welcome back.
Well, thank you very much, sir. And let's plunge into the news. There's been plenty going on. This story actually is from last week when I was on the beach at some point. And it concerns RapidFire Tools. Now, they are a division of Kaseya. They are focused on security and assessments. In the not too distant past, they introduced a product called Audit Guru that basically helps MSPs monitor compliance with various regulatory requirements. They have just added a new module, and they're basically positioning Audit Guru these days as a platform. They're going to be rolling out all sorts of different modules for it that you can just sort of snap into the basic foundation. The latest one, which is just out now, is called Audit Guru for Cyber Insurance. And basically, it either highlights something really depressing about the world or just sort of reinforces what you already knew, which is that insurance companies maybe aren't the greatest institutions on planet Earth. Now, as we all know, security issues, data breaches, an enormous problem. We're talking about $6 trillion worth of damage that cyber attacks do in a year at this point, according to Cybersecurity Ventures. And so more and more businesses are investing in cyber insurance. It's a really smart thing. If your customers aren't doing it already, you should be talking to them about that. But guess what? When your customers take advantage of this policy and file a claim because they have been breached, and remember, this is a when, not an if, insurance companies increasingly are looking for technicalities. They're looking for ways, basically, to not pay the claim by essentially saying that you didn't do your due diligence. Your firewall wasn't properly configured, or you didn't have one. Therefore, you were negligent. Therefore, we're not going to pay your claim. It's happening a lot more than you would think. So what this Audit Guru product does basically is two things. First of all, when you're filing an application for the insurance coverage, it will verify that everything you're saying in the application form is in fact true. Because if there's any mistake, any omission, any exaggeration, any problem in the application form, the insurance companies could seize upon that. And then on a regular basis, RapidFire Tools says you should just kind of continually check that you're still in compliance with the requirements of the policy. Then if you file a claim and the insurance company comes back to you and says, well, actually, we're not going to pay because we say you did something or other wrong, you've got a report basically that you can bring to them during the appeals process to say, look, you're wrong. We did all the right things and we've got it thoroughly documented. So it's a little sad that businesses need this, but it is something that businesses need for an MSP. It's a nice little recurring revenue generating service opportunity. And to the extent that the continual monitoring of compliance uncovers some issue that an end user needs to rectify, it could also be a source of project work. So kind of an interesting new product.
Yeah, I'm again excited but saddened at the same time. But should be an easy upsell for an MSP. I mean, the fear that the insurance company will not pay out in your hour of greatest need should be compelling enough for the business owner to say, yes, please verify that I'm in compliance with my policy, and also during the due diligence prior to the application for a cybersecurity or liability insurance policy to make sure that we're in compliance there. And I think it's an easy win, an easy add to a cybersecurity bundle, that makes total perfect sense. So yeah, I think it just, again, another evolution of private industry kind of policing, these big, organizations that are supposed to be taking care of the little guy. Right. I don't want to talk about, FEMA and all of that stuff, but, we've seen how some organizations can try to avoid paying out on claims. So great idea.
And like you said, it's an easy sell. It's also worth pointing out it's kind of a low overhead addition to whatever you're doing now. The licensing model for Audit Guru in general is you pay one fee for your entire customer base. I believe it's $500 a month is what you're going to be paying to roll this cyber insurance protection out to as many different end users as you want. So it's probably a high margin easy sell.
Absolutely. It's a no-brainer. And of course, the more clients you have, the more you resell. Again, the margin could be 100% after a while. You never know, right?
Well, this is actually kind of a nice transition to your tip of the week, because we're talking about a tool and you want people thinking about their tools.
I do. I want folks to think, at least on a yearly basis. The tip of the week is about time to review your line of business tools, folks. I'm working with a brand new client in a consulting engagement, and come to find out they're just using the wrong tool to manage their ticketing and other things. It is a tool that is not specifically written for our vertical. It is a very generic ticketing system, and it fails to have all of the things that an MSP would expect, the integration points with other platforms and RMMs and things like that, and automated workflows and things that help us alert and escalate and maintain SLA and things like that. And so, it was a big kind of a showstopper moment when I went out and visited and did a one-day onsite and started getting into their tools. And I couldn't even get basic information like, tickets opened and closed a day, and utilization and realization. And it's a showstopper. So, the tip of the week expands from that and asks us all to review every single one of our critical line of business applications and the tools that we're using to not only power our businesses, but provide support for our clients. So review those tools and look at the options and see if there's ways for you perhaps to leap to another solution that will give you incremental efficiency improvements. Wouldn't it be nice in the perfect world, Rich, if we had all of our tools and applications integrated and we can manage them with just a single pane of glass, or maybe a couple at the most? That's nirvana for us MSPs. And typically, the only way that we can increase profitability after we sign a managed service agreement with a client is increasing our own efficiencies in order to achieve those higher margins and increase profits.
Yeah, talk about sad but true. We have to sort of continually remind ourselves of this, because those of us who live our lives sort of immersed in the managed services world, it's easy to assume basically that everybody's got a PSA and an RMM, and it's something that's really targeted at the managed services space, and it's at least got hooks, APIs that'll connect to other systems, but certainly when we do our live events at ChannelPro, I always wind up meeting some people who have no tools at all. And then there are plenty of others who have some kind of a tool, but it's really not something that's written for the particular kind of business that this organization is in. So it may sound like a really simple kind of basic thing. You need to have top quality tools, but you really do. And it's surprising how many MSPs out there haven't taken that step yet.
Yeah, and in some instances, it's almost like the shoemaker's kids, right? The shoemaker will make the best quality shoes for their clients, but their kids are running around barefoot, right? We see these very accomplished and trusted advisors advising clients on their LOBs, yet here we are lacking in that regard. So.
Well, it does take time and energy to go out and research tools and implement a new one, get it all stood up and ready to go. So we have time for one more story, and maybe it'll help some folks out in terms of mustering the energy they're going to need for that project. You may have seen this. It was all over the news this week. In fact, there was a study in the UK, very encouraging to coffeeholics like myself. Basically, the British Cardiovascular Society went out and did a study to see if there might be any damage to your arteries if you drink lots and lots of coffee. And spoiler alert, I'll just cut to the chase here. No, No, in fact, they found that if you're drinking 5 cups, no you do no more harm to yourself than if you're drinking one. And in fact, those who drank up to 25 cups, up to 25 cups of coffee a day were A-okay. 25 cups a day, Eric. That's, I mean, start thinking about that. How, you know, how do you even do that if you want to do that?
That's gallons of Java, I think.
That's like a job in itself, basically. Just making it, you know, sort of reminding yourself to keep drinking. I don't know. That's 3 an hour in an average workday. But the good news is, if you're a 25 a cup a day fella, you're okay. Health-wise, not going to be a problem. You're just really going to be wired.
Right. Your nickname's Speedy.
Well, that is all the time we've got this week on the 5-Minute Roundup. Thank you very much for joining us. If you like the show, you'd like to see keep up with future episodes, maybe take a look at some past ones that you missed. Best thing to do is get on YouTube, subscribe to the ChannelPro Network channel there, and you will get all the information you need. You want to read more about RapidFire Tools and their cyber insurance solution, get some business growth tips, other industry news and trends coverage. The place to go is channelpronetwork.com. You will find all sorts of great content there every day. To learn more about Erick and the work that he does with his clients, you want to go to www.ericksimpson.com. That is ERICK Simpson.com. Erick and I will be back next week with another episode of the 5-Minute Roundup. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Erick and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.